up underneath this spray coupe, I've just replaced this rear seal. It was leaking a little bit. It was wet down here on the bottom whenever I took it loose. So I got another seal and put in here. I've got to get my clutch and stuff bolted up here. So this flywheel has drawn a little moisture and has rusted a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt it on, but I'm gonna get me some emery cloth and see if I can clean that up a little. I'm going to do the same thing with this one that I done on the Alice. I'm going to put just a little Loctite on everything, just the slightest bit. I'm not going to replace the pilot bearing. It still looks good, and I think I'm just going to pack it full of grease. Now, I don't have a book on this, but we looked it up online, and this flywheel torques at 45 foot-pounds. I'm gonna go find me some emery cloth and clean this up. I'll catch back up with you in a minute. So I've got the flywheel cleaned up, I think good enough. The pressure plate, it had a little bit on it too. I've had these clutches, let's see, Dad wrote the date on it here somewhere. 4/3, and today's the 14th. So I've had them, 10, 11 days or something, and they've been sitting in here in the barn, in the floor. So it's grabbed a little bit of moisture. But I think it'll be alright. But I've packed my bearing full of grease here. I filled that hole full and stuck my finger in there and tried to roll it around. And then I took the alignment tool and stuck in there and forced out what excess grease there was. That way it wouldn't sling out on my clutch. So now, put my clutch back in. There is a certain way that this flywheel goes on. You can see right here these two bolts are a little closer together, and there is a certain way that this pressure plate goes on. I don't know if you can see it or not. We've done marked it here. There's a little red dot right there on that pin, and we made a red mark right here. So that's where it goes. It's like that. Now well, so these torque, I'm pretty sure it said it was 15 foot-pounds. Fifteen foot-pounds or 180 inch-pounds. Well, that's like that. Oh, there it is. I'm going to do this the same way. Just a small little bit. These ain't but about the size of a 1/4 inch, or not a quarter, but a 5/16 bolt. They're not real big. I'm just going to go around through here where these dowel pins are and tap it and make sure that it's pulled up. So now I'm not for sure if my torque wrench will go down that low. Barely. The motor that's in this is a 1.8 liter. Well, that should have that. So now I've got to get my jack and the transmission stuff back up under here. I had to take the jack and stuff back out from under here because I split that 170 first, and then I took the transmission out of this, and I wanted to get the 170 back going, so I took the floor jack and that little I don't know what you call it, that little sled looking thing that I built to hold the jack and everything, back out from here and put it back under the 170. And so I've got to get all that back under here to get this transmission back up. So whenever I get that done, I'll catch back up with you. If you watched my video of me taking this thing out, I had trouble right here getting this thing out. And what I think I'm going to try without dropping this motor down, because that was the only way to really get it to come out straight. When I took it loose, I tilted the transmission up that it come out. So what I'm going to try before I do anything major about dropping this motor is I'm going to see if I can take it back up the same way and try to go in and twist it back up that way and try that. And if that don't work, then I'll try to do something different. But that's what I'm going to try first. Now, maybe I can move all this stuff. Wow. I'm missing a bolt. Alright, I found another bolt. So now I said in the other video that I had to take this loose. This is the fan bracket. I'll show you where it goes. So this motor is sitting in here backwards. Like I said, this is a Volkswagen motor. So all the belts and stuff is here in the back. The radiator is here in the front. And it comes off the crank up and over. And what this bracket does is this bracket goes down to the bell housing and the transmission. The transmission bolts is what holds it on down here. And then the bearing up on the fan goes right here. So I had to take this out, and it's kind of a chore, so I'm not going to film that, putting that back in, but I'm going to go ahead and put this bracket back in and bolt the transmission and stuff down and come back to you in a bit. So I've got all the main stuff done. I've got the transmission bolted up to the bell housing. I've got the cross member bolted back in. I've got the fan bracket put back on. All I like is I've got to hook my gear shift back up. I've got to put the starter back on and hook up my clutch linkage and my drive shafts, which all they do is they just slide on and off like a PTO shaft, because you can pull this particular machine and it's got a tongue that goes on it, and when you put that tongue on it, up in the front it's got a valve you can turn, and that turns the steering off, and then you unhook your drive shafts, like I said, like a PTO, and lets it run free to where you can transport it that way, so that ain't no big deal. So I want to see if I can get my starter on, get my linkage hooked up here, and I've got these tin covers right here that goes and covers the back of the transmission on the flywheel. I got that to put on, and that should pretty much have it. And then I'm going to see if I can find me a battery and get in it and get it started, and adjust the clutch and see how it's going to act. So this is a few days later. I got it all together there the other night, but when I was hooking the battery cable and stuff back up on the starter. The end was pretty bad, so I went and had to wait the next day to get battery cables. And I put new battery cables on it. And I've had some trouble out of it the past couple of years. Let it run out of gas. But anyway, I've had some problems the past couple of years with it starting. It's not one to start. And I couldn't get it started the other day. And so I took the starter back off, and I had to take a load of corn this morning to London, and I dropped it off over there at a starter place. And they said that the starter was good, but these Volkswagens don't have a starter nose on them. The end of the starter goes up into the bell housing, and they've got a little bushing in there, and that bushing was wore out. So I got a new bushing and put in it, and I done that, it fired right up. But I've drove it around, everything seems to be alright, it's shifting okay. Down on the transmission where I was talking about when I took it out, I was going to change some things. The only thing I changed there is I got a metric bolt and put back. It was a little bit bigger, and it just tightened everything up, and it's shifting better now than it has in a long time. So I've still got some things I've got to do. I've got to change these old hoses for the foam marker. They're bad. You can see here where it's been leaking in some places, and I've tried taping it up just to keep it from leaking so bad. The boom is broke right here. I've got to fix that. I've got some cylinders I've got to replace the seals in. I replaced this one here on the right, this one here on the left. It's sitting here dripping now. That's the reason why this strap is on here. I took and was using that strap to hold it back because it was leaking so bad. But I've got all the seals and stuff for that, and get them done. But it's about that time that I've got to use it, so hopefully this clutch and everything will last, and get all this other little knick-knack stuff done to it, and I'll have a better spraying year than I've had in the past few years. But that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.